Hello IBK, this is my feedback to your summary from last week. So this is the last time I'm going to give you feedback on a summary. From now on, from next week, we focus all of our attention on the evidence paragraph. Okay, so let's start. This video, remember, you need to include the title of the video, right, in the first sentence. Mainly ideas from the speeches of Jeff Bezos. Okay, remember how the first sentence has to be argumentative and it has to state the main idea. It has to summarize the whole video in an argumentative way. So we need to say something like Jeff Bezos argues that, remember? And then you have to try and conclude the sentence. What does he argue? Now, even if this video is very descriptive and it is made up of 8 smaller videos, you can still try and find the implied argument. And the implied argument may be by the person who made the video, who spliced all these separate episodes together. What would that be? You could certainly try and guess it. Even if it's not stated explicitly, you should still make the first sentence argumentative. So I could say something like, Jeff Bezos argues that in order to be a successful entrepreneur, we need to follow certain steps, certain rules, such as time management, blah blah and blah blah, something like that. Okay, in the rubric, if you go to the rubric, and you will see that the descriptor for the first idea, for the first sentence, is you need to state it argumentatively and concisely. Okay, so in the exam, go back to the rubric and check each descriptor, each bullet point in the rubric, and make sure that your summary includes all the things, right? Okay, let's move on. Firstly, he talks about managing time better. Sure. He highlights that there always be things that you don't like. There always be is not correct here. There are always things maybe that you don't like. This is, you could rephrase this using more academic phrasing, right? I mean, he may have said something like that, but he's talking informally to an audience. So in that summary here, we just try to make it a little bit more precise and more academic. There are always things that you don't like. However, it is better to try to minimize them rather than trying to get rid of it. Who is it and who is them? Again, get rid of is very informal, so you want to rephrase that. And then the it here, is it or is it them? And what is it? What does that refer to? What's the referent here? Yeah, so here you definitely need to make that point a little bit more clear. Secondly, he points out that it is important to find your calling. Okay, fine. That's clear. That sentence is very clear. Then he demonstrates demonstrates his example that people should be resourceful. Yeah, remember we stay away from examples, so don't even mention that. You can just say the next point The next recommendation Bezos gives is that we should try and be resourceful. Now, who are these people? Again, academic language is very precise. We don't talk about things or people. We talk about, in this case, entrepreneurs, successful businessmen, those. So we always try to be very precise. People is just too general, right? In other words, if there is a problem, there will be a solution. Okay? Sure. It's still not very clear. Because he is a successful entrepreneur, he is talking about entrepreneurship in all these little clips. So you could say, to make it more precise, you could rephrase it and say, another tip he gives to prospective entrepreneurs is that they should be resourceful. They should always seek a solution to every problem rather than simply avoiding the problem. Something like that, to make it more in the context of setting up a business or working on a business project. Next, it is crucial to have a dream. Okay, fine. For instance, Jeff Bezos did not expect his success, but believed in it. Okay. His fifth point is that people should choose to do hard things, meaning that person must be proud not of his or her gifts, but rather of his or her hard work and choices. Okay. He does mention these words. Okay, no, I can understand. I mean, I've seen the video. I know what you're talking about in all of these sentences. It's just that imagine somebody who hasn't seen the video. They need to know what it's about, and it's not very clear. Should choose to do hard things. Yeah, what does that mean, to do hard things? Again, to be more precise, and you're talking about business people and entrepreneurship, you could say something like, another advice Bezos gives is that instead of taking success, instead of being proud of your gifts, entrepreneurs or success or young business people, potential entrepreneurs or future entrepreneurs should work hard to achieve success. Something like that. I didn't say it very well here, I have to admit. Meaning that the person must be proud not of his gifts, but rather of their own hard work and choices. This is better here. I'm not sure about the choices though. So Bezos recommends, another recommendation Bezos gives to successful entrepreneurs is that they should earn their success through hard work. That's it. Very clear and simple, right? Moreover, he suggests to start small and then expect to expand. Okay, fine. He does say that. I would just say, when you're starting a company, start small, right? To those who want to start their company, Bezos recommends that they start small and then expand little by little. Okay, fine. Additionally, his advice during times of crisis, is to stay focused on customers rather than big competitors. Okay, fine, that's good. Here, because you've said his advice during during times of crisis. We know that we're talking about economic crisis, and all of a sudden when you say stay focused, and because you've mentioned customers and competitors, now we know we're talking about business, and this is much more clear than choose to do hard things, which could be in any context. Or a person must not be proud of his gifts. We could be talking about musicians, we could be talking about sports people, we could be talking about anyone. So, but he's talking to entrepreneurs. So in this sentence, this is very clear. You've provided very clear context that we're talking about entrepreneurs who want to set up a company, they want to launch a business, and if they do that, they should stay focused on their customers, not on their competition or competitors. So that's very clear. And I would say work backwards, and throughout the paragraph, try to make that context again very, very clear. Then when you say it's important to have a dream, here for instance, you could say, next, when starting a business, or when launching a new project, or when starting a new company, entrepreneurs, it is crucial for entrepreneurs to have a dream. And all of a sudden, it's very clear what we're talking about, you see? So a little bit more clarity, a little bit more context, so that these recommendations do not sound like they're given out of context in a vacuum. Because otherwise, what are we talking about when we say a person? That could be anyone. Must be proud not of his gifts. See, we could be talking about any person here. But again, academic writing is very precise and there's always a context to it. But overall, your writing is clear enough. I've seen the video, so I know what we're talking about. But again, a person who hasn't seen the video, they should be able to understand very clearly. Okay. Additionally, his advice, yeah, we got that. Last but not least, Bezos claims, third person, claims to have a bigger vision on products. So again, this, you have used specific terminology here, but it's not very clear what this is talking about. Bezos claims to have a bigger vision on products or services. Yeah, I'm not very sure. So this needs to be clarified. But more importantly, remember that the last sentence, again, if you go back to the rubric, you will see that the concluding sentence has to summarize the whole lecture. And again, this lecture is very difficult to summarize because it's just 8 separate episodes. But still, you should try and force yourself to find something that would summarize the whole thing. So I could say, finally, or in conclusion, or it can be concluded from all of Bezos's advice that blah blah blah, something like that. Because really this is just one of the supporting ideas. You should dream big. I think that's what he's talking about. So overall, I would say your writing is okay. It's clear enough. You've used cohesive devices. You've used reporting verbs. That's fine. The name of the speaker. It's clear enough, logical enough. I would just add a little bit of precision, a bit more context, so that we know exactly what dreams are, what are these gifts, what are these dreams, what are these choices, right? And I would make the first sentence more argumentative, and the last sentence should summarize the whole thing, the whole video. Even if it's hard, we need to do that because the rubric, that's how we're going to grade you, using the rubric. So for the exam, try your best, go through the rubric and make sure that all the bullet points, all the descriptors are fulfilled in your summary. Okay? Good luck, IBK. From now on, we move on to the evidence paragraph.